Hi, I'm Joe Bergeron. I work for North Pontotoc High School. I am part of the support team, and today's video is about job applications. To my students, I truly hope that you've had an opportunity to get by and watch Miss Karn's video and Coach Brown's video and Miss Trantham's video. Um, they've got a lot of good information there. I hope you're doing your packets. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Um, this this is specifically because you've had a lot of time off, and I hope to goodness if you're 15 and a half or 16 or whatever age that the employer allows, that you've had an opportunity to go and fill out a job application. Having money of your own is an amazing, spectacular thing. And I hope to goodness that you guys have found employment. And if you aren't going to find employment and your family has decided not to pursue that, that's fine. And I understand completely. I just remember how excited and important it was to me at your age to find a job. Okay. So I'm going to open my little PowerPoint here. Oh, sorry. Okay. Forgive me. Okay. Are we good? Okay. So like I said, I hope you've had an opportunity to find work, if that is what your family has decided, and that you're making your own money, and that you're learning all the things that we learn as a part of working. I know that it has been really important to me to find work and to always be working. Now, getting a job means that you have to fill out an application. And I'm going to talk today specifically about the old-fashioned application process. Now, I know that there are many places where they tell you a website and then they have you log on and fill that all out, and it goes through corporate and all that good stuff. So those are all really great things. And I want you to apply in as many different ways as possible to find employment. But what is a job application is what we're going to start with. So the very first thing it is it's a quick literacy test. They want to know that you understand what the questions are asking and that you are able to answer them, that you can comprehend what it is that you're reading. So they want to know if you can read and how well you can read, and it is a quick literacy test. The other thing an application is it's a snapshot. It in just a page or two, everything that I've been up to in my lifetime. So, it's not much time to let a complete stranger, know exactly who you are. It's got some really important information. It's got emergency contacts. It's got your personal information. It has your experience. It has why you want the job sometimes. I've had math tests. I've had English tests. I've had a whole bunch of different things that have been associated with the application. And it's an amazing thing. And they want to know that you can follow directions. One of the biggest things we're going to talk about today is being present for that application and following all of the directions. Now, before you start any filling out of an application, what do you need to do? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to read the entire application. I don't mean read it as you go, read it cover to cover. And if you need to, read it twice. You need to know what questions are coming up before you start filling it out. And I'll let you know why in just a second. Next thing you need to have is a pen, a blue or a black pen. Now, if you are super proficient at technology and have the ability to fill out an application using your computer and type the answers, that's even better, man. It that would be the optimum situation. You really want to impress your employer, and that would impress an employer. It would impress me, but I mean, I am an old guy. The other thing you're going to need is a personal data sheet. Now, I want you to Google personal data sheets. It's going to ask for your name, your phone number, your mom's phone number, your granny's phone number, your uncle's phone number, your references, phone numbers, and addresses. Having this sheet with you means that you're not going to forget anything when it comes time to fill out an application. Right? And next to that, I put ID and papers. A lot of the times, if you're hired on the spot, and I have been hired on the spot, I don't know, 10, 15 times in my lifetime. So it is distinctly possible that you're going to show up and get hired on the spot. Make sure you have your driver's license. And if you don't have a driver's license, that's fine. There's a state issued ID card. If you have your student ID, sometimes they ask for your birth certificate, a copy of your birth certificate to go along with that, that school ID. And if you have your social security card, now there are a lot of moms and dads that say the same thing. They don't want you carrying around your social security card, and that's fine. If you've got the number written down somewhere or you've taken a picture of it with your phone, you're going to need that number if you get employed. Okay? Social security number conversation is one of those things that you need to have with your parents. I think many people feel many different ways about sharing that number and losing or someone stealing your identity. So definitely talk to your parent or guardian. And then the other thing is, if you are lucky enough to talk to an employer that has a paper copy, ask for 2 copies of the application so that if you mess up the first one, you've got one in reserve. Take a special good care of both of these. You don't want to turn in something that's wrinkled or folded. Okay? Real good care until you get it back to the employer. Now, we're actually going to start filling something out. Well, the deal is you need to use your very best handwriting. And it cannot be rushed, and it needs to be print. You need to write prettier than a typewriter if you have that capability. It is of critical importance because the first thing they're going to judge you on before they read a word of your application is the neatness or the sloppiness that they find in your handwriting. Right? Take your time. It is important because I write better when I take my time. If I'm in a rush or if I'm filled with anxiety or nervous, it's going to affect my handwriting. So take your time. Answer all the questions. Now, what if they ask me if I've been in the military? And if I've been in the military, how long and what branch? I understand that some of those questions are not going to apply to you. And if they don't apply, it does not apply. Now, should you leave any blanks open because it doesn't pertain to you? It doesn't have anything to do with you. No, you have to fill it all in. It is so important because it shows that you read each and every question. And then the other thing that I want to caution you about is be available. Now, many times people show up to their first job and they want to say, well, I want to work Thursdays from 3 to 5, but then I don't want to work Sundays, and then I want to work every other Friday. You're trying to get one of your first jobs. Now, many of you already have had a job. To get a job, sometimes you have to be able or willing to work some hours that you don't normally. So if someone asks you, would you be willing to work until close? If you have that capability, I would say yes. Okay? Now, I don't want you to lie, but I don't want you to cut yourself out from an opportunity because you're not making yourself completely available. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Now, if you are filling out a job application and say, for example, you wrote K-row and you misspelled it. It's supposed to be C-A-I. Okay, there's one thing that I want you to do. As a part of writing incorrect info, I want you to draw one line. That's it. One line. It is so much less distracting. I have had students in the past that wanted to do this, or they wanted to make a box, or I had one that wrote oops. None of that is okay. All right? None of that is okay. What I need you to do is I need you to draw one line through the incorrect information and then rewrite it. Okay? I mean, obviously, we want to spell things correctly if we have that capability. I want you to remember that this is your chance to brag. So if it says, did you do things in school? Yes. I mean, if you were in the band, if you went to Voc Tech, if you were on the honor roll, if you won an award at church, I want you to give them all that you can, right? No, I don't have any experience. However, I've volunteered at the hospital. I babysit the neighbors' children every day. I wash my grandmother's vehicle every other Sunday. Whatever it is that you can do to show that you are committed, that you are working hard, and that you are trying to be a part of something. Okay? Brag on yourself. Tell good things, positive things about yourself. It's important. It makes a difference. Okay? Now, the other thing is, this is your first and only chance to make a good first impression. When they get that application back from you, what are they immediately going to think? What would you think of someone who gave you the same application that you gave back to them? Would you want to hire them? I need you to really take your time and make it as informational as possible and as close to the truth as you can get it. Okay? All right, let's see. Now, like I said, I've been hired on the spot, I know, at least 10 different times in my lifetime where I showed up and they interviewed me on the spot. Now, they interviewed me on the spot because I decided to wear appropriate clothing to the business when I went to go ask for the application. I also wore appropriate clothing when I went to turn it back in if I needed to leave and bring it back. Right? Dress appropriately in hopes of getting that on the spot interview. Right? I'm not going to talk about interviews because somebody else is doing a video on that, but show up, be well groomed, and dressed appropriately. Be polite. If you have to ask for an application, that can be a hassle for some employees because they have to chase down the boss and they have to get an application. Be polite. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. Be willing to wait. Use the manners that I know that your parents or guardians have taught you. All right? Make sure you smile and you look them in the eye. Okay. So we've gotten our application in and they say, thanks, we'll call you. Well, here's what I'm saying to you. You should give them a week. 1 week. That's all you're going to give them. And then you're going to call back and you're going to ask, well, I turned in my application last week and I wanted to know if there was anything else that I could help clarify or answer for you. Were there any problems or mistakes that you found that I can maybe clear up? And if they say no, then smile, use your voice and smile through the phone and say thank you. And in 3 days, call back. Now, don't want you to be a pest, but I need you to impress upon these folks that it's important to you and that you want to be employed. All right? It's important. All right. Make sure that if anybody goes and gets an application or takes your application, or before you get off the phone, you make sure and thank them for their time and thank them for taking the time to speak to you. All right. Now, if all else fails and they start to dodge your calls or they don't call you back, you leave a message, visiting them and asking for anything that you can do to help move your application up the line, you should do that. Okay. Now, in terms of finding a job, I don't have a whole lot of slides in terms of finding a job, but so far where I live, I've seen 4 or 5 different stores that have a sign right on the front door. The newspaper is going to have different jobs available. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, anybody that you think would have some good information about jobs. I mean, take it to social media. I need work. You'd be amazed at the number of people that are looking for you and want you. Okay. Do we have any more slides here? Let's see. Okay. I think that's going to be all that I have. Thank you so very much. Again, if you want a copy of this and didn't get one, email me at jbergeron@pcsd.ms. I'm happy to do that. Make sure you're looking around at some of the other offerings the other teachers have. Spend this time watching a video. Spend this time filling out applications because I know that you can find employment and I know that the money is nice. All right. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you later. Okay.